Hey friends, it's Carly and I'm so happy to be here with you, and I'm super excited to share with you this super easy interactive pop-up card design. Now the spiral pop-up looks really tricky, but I promise it is so super simple. Let me show you. So I'm going to start by die cutting all the little bits that are going to go on the pop-up. I'm using the Candy Kebob set, so you can see I have all these great options. And I love these candies so much that I chose practically all of them. I think I only left like 2 behind. I die cut a whole bunch of each one, and let me show you how I'm putting them together. Now I'm using white cardstock because that's just kind of my default. I always have lots of white scraps, lots of white cardstock laying around, so it makes sense for me to die cut from that and then add color with my favorite colors of ink. But if you use colored cardstock, this card would go even faster. Now each candy has a base layer and a detail layer, and the base layer has a guideline to help you know where to place a detail layer, which is so helpful. For these Swedish fish, I'm doing the detail layer in abandoned coral, and I'm going to do the base layer in saltwater taffy. Now once I've got both layers colored, it's super easy to put them together with a little bit of glue. And like I said, there's a guideline on that base layer that shows you exactly where you want to put this detail line. But I also find just the style of these candies are super forgiving. They don't have to be perfect to look cute. Since I'm doing a lot of each candy, I find it goes faster when I do a little bit of like mass producing. So all of the Swedish fish, I die cut all of the Swedish fish. I'm going to do all of the inking of the detail layers, then all the inking of the base layers, and then all of the assembly. And then I'm going to move on to my next type of candy. As we skip ahead a little bit, you can see that big pile of finished candy that I'm pushing aside till later. Then I'm going to grab my scored card, fold it so that I can put it inside my stamping tool and stamp the bulk of the sentiment on the inside. So the big part of the sentiment is going to be on the inside of this card. I'm using the hugs from the Big Hug set, and I'm going to position it in there on the bottom corner. So once I've got hugs all loaded up in my MISTI, I'm ready to ink and stamp it. Now I'm using distress oxides. So to get a good solid stamp from this ink, which is meant to be distressed, I'm going to use a little trick. I'm going to apply it to my stamp with a blending tool. I'm going to ink it up and stamp it at least 2 or 3 times. And that way I get the amount of coverage that I really want. I get a solid impression that's bright pink and no distressing. Once I'm happy with how hugs look, I'm going to add Big Squishy right above it. Because of course, this is a card full of gummy candies. So these are big squishy hugs, right? Now, since I'm so happy with my hugs and I don't want to have to redo it, I'm going to test the Big Squishy. So I've got it loaded in my stamping tool, but I'm going to put a piece of acetate over my card here so that I can stamp on that and test it. Then I can ink up my stamp and stamp onto that acetate, and that lets me check the spacing and the alignment, all of the things about placing that stamp to make sure that I like it. If I don't like it, I have a chance to move it and try testing it again. If I do like it, I can just clean that acetate off with a wipe or a little alcohol swab, get it out of the way, put it back in my MISTI for later, and then ink up the stamp and stamp again onto my actual project. If you watch many of my videos, you will always see me doing this because it has saved me so many times. Now, after that sentiment on the inside is all set, it's time to make the pop-up mechanism. I have cut a circle from one of Hero's clear card panels. This is my favorite acetate ever because it die cuts like a dream. And then I'm just going to grab some scissors and I'm going to cut this into a spiral. Now my cutting skills are not great, but it doesn't have to be perfect because no one's really going to notice it. And that's one of the reasons I used acetate for this pop-up, because it was going to fade into the background even more. But of course, you could try it in cardstock too. And if you are better at cutting, you might even think of doing it out of something fun like glitter paper so that it's really part of the design. Now I don't really need the inside of this circle, so after I've gotten a little bit of a spiral there, I'm going to go ahead, kind of cut it out so that it's a little bit smaller. And then I'm even going to trim it down a little bit more after I test it out. But the size of the spiral, it doesn't matter. You could keep it the whole circle. You could make it even smaller than this. Whatever you want for the inside of the spiral will work perfectly. Now that the spiral is ready, it's time to add it to the inside of the card. So I'm kind of figuring out exactly where I think I want it to be. And then I'm going to grab some liquid glue. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on one end of the spiral. Then I'm going to put that down onto one side of my card, making sure the spiral is all the way on the bottom side of the card there. And I'm just gonna hold it for a minute. Now I'm just using liquid glue because I always use liquid glue. Any adhesive would probably work great. Now, once that's good and stuck down, I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the other side of the spiral and close my card to secure it where I want it to be. After a quick press under some acrylic blocks, you can see I've got that little spiral pop-up mechanism in my card, just waiting to be decorated. So here's where all that candy I made comes in. So I'm just going to take the candy and start adding it to the spiral. So of course the first couple of pieces are going to be on the card there, kind of covering up the end of that acetate piece, but then I'm going to go ahead and start gluing them onto the actual acetate. Now when the candy is face down, like the ones you can see right there, I'm just going to use one. But as I start going up the spiral, I'm going to start sandwiching the spiral in between two die cuts so that it's candy on both sides. Some of the candy pieces, like this butterfly, for example, are super symmetrical, so it's easy to put butterflies back to back with that acetate in the middle. And then some of the candies are not so symmetrical, which I didn't think of until I was already actively putting this together. So I did have to go back and die cut a few more things, like, for example, the peach ring. So I had one go on there, perfect, but on the back side, which you're going to be able to see a little bit from certain sides of that pop-up, I need to cover it up with one that actually matches. So I die cut just the base layer because I didn't want any added bulk on the acetate side, and I inked up the base layers on the back side. So that's like the back side that I'm doing right there, and that way I can add it on the other side of my acetate and have it match perfectly. Okay, let's jump ahead. Here you can see all the candy on that spiral. Isn't it so fun? Now, it's all decorated, so you could call it a day here. This could be the end of your card. But I wanted to continue the spiral just flat onto the card. So I'm going to keep positioning candy, figure out where I want my little swoops to go, and start adhering those down as well. Once that's all done, I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and trim off any little candy pieces that are hanging over any edges. And now it's time to start working on the front. I'm adding an additional panel on the front because I want the extra weight to help kind of hold the card closed on that spiral. I'm doing the penny candy jar from the top as if candy is spilling out, and you can see I left one worm from the inside of my card untrimmed there, and that's to help me know where I want my little spiral of falling candy on the front to go. That way it can meet up with the candy on the inside to continue this silly swirl of candy that I have going. Now to give it a little bit of extra dimension, I've die cut one of the penny jars from just white cardstock, and I'm going to glue that one down first onto the panel that's going to be the front. And then I'm going to trim off the excess that's hanging over the edge. And I missed a little bit, so I'm going to come in with my scissors and trim it a little bit closer to the edge there. And then it'll be ready to top with the blue candy jar, which this is Seaside Blue cardstock, which I think is just the best color for glass. It's so pretty. And you could skip the cardstock layer, the white one, and just do the blue jar with some foam tape or some other foam adhesive. I just really like cardstock for layering for dimension. I think it makes them better to mail, though I have to say I have not mailed a spiral card yet. So who's going to be my volunteer? I need to mail it to somebody to see how it fares. Now, after the jars are ready, then we just need more candy. More candy is always the answer. But then I couldn't decide where the candy was going to go. So I took a break. I trimmed off any remaining pieces that were hanging over the edge, and then I used a little bit of liquid glue to adhere the jar panel to the folded card. I finished adding the candy, but something still seemed like it was missing. I thought I would come back to it the next day, but I actually came back in the middle of the night, which is why there's no video footage of me adding the faux splatter with some black pens and that half circle sentiment on the front. But I'm so glad I did because I love how this card turned out. I love that it's just like a delightful surprise when you open it. I hope you are inspired to try a spiral pop-up card soon. I appreciate you so much for being here and watching, and I hope to see you here again on the Hero Arts channel soon. Thanks again, and happy crafting!